There was some breaking news this morning. Just now, I was just putting it all together in real time, unless you're watching or listening to this later on. Keir Starmer resigns as the UK Prime Minister. Now, it's not really breaking news because President Trump, I love when a president actually breaks news ahead of time. Now, it used to be that obviously a president will get word that something's happening first and they kind of embargo it. That's the term in the news industry. And they wait for the announcement to happen. Not Trump. Nope, he's like... He blasted this out over the weekend on social media. Keir Starmer will resign Monday morning. And I think he even had the exact time in there. He's done a terrible job on immigration and energy. He's gone. Trump's like, I need to report the news now. I'm America's favorite news reporter. But he was right. Now, the big question is, even though we all knew this was coming and the official announcement has happened, we'll get to that in a second. The big question you're probably asking is the same one we should all be asking. It's the relevant question. What the hell do I care? I'm an American. Why do I care about the UK Prime Minister? I'm going to make the argument that, yeah, it does matter to us. Yes, it does. Because it's a big win for patriotism. Maybe not our patriots, you know. These are the UK citizens, but a win for patriotism nonetheless. Now, it's a lot different than the royal family. I could not give a rip what happens to them. I do not care. I'm American. So are you, most likely. But the UK Prime Minister, who was probably further left than Stalin, this actually does matter to us because, believe you me, there are politicians in this country looking at that, and the people who would like to turn our country into what's happened in England, which we'll get to here in a second, oh, this is a warning for them, because if they were able to get this done over there, yeah, that's a big win for Western culture. We'll get to it. Thanks for finding me. I appreciate you. Wicked Radio live stream, podcast, X, YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff. And thank you so much for the follows and listens on the audio podcast, whatever platform you like to get to. Let's get to the official announcement. This one, I just found this a couple of minutes ago. Sorry I was late starting the live stream. Well, the best take so far of the morning so far came from all people. Brian Kilmeade on Fox and Friends in the morning. Listen to him. Good for you, Brian.
I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
He was a terrible leader. He let the borders go wide open. He let anti-Semitism rage in this country and push back on anyone that was concerned about the Muslim extremists that were taking over their streets. So congratulations, hit the road.
He goes, hit the road. Kick rocks. Good. And he summed up very well there in a couple of sentences exactly what was happening. Just so you know, let's get to the full speech. This is where he's breaking down and crying and all this stuff. Yeah, how upset you think he was that Trump actually broke the news 3 days ago that he was going to resign? He took the thunder away from the guy.
And when I leave the biggest job in the country, I shall spend more time on the most important job, being the best husband I can to my fantastic wife, Vic, who has been a rock by my side through good times and bad.
Listen, as a human, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I think Trump's actually said this. He goes, I think he's a nice man. He's just a terrible leader. He's completely incompetent. He doesn't know what he's doing. But the people in the UK have said this for so long. And Brian Kilmeade there in Fox News got to some of the main issues right there. Some of them very, very, very serious and horrifying. Now, one of the guys that's been railing against this for years now, against not just Keir Starmer, but what's been happening in their culture. And we can't grasp this completely unless you've been over there, you know somebody from the UK, you know somebody that lives in London, and what's happened in not that long a time period, like 10 years, what's happened there with the violence, the extremism. This is the horrifying part, but it's relevant to the story. The Muslim rape gangs, yes, that's actually a thing that's happened here, and nothing done to protect it. But not only that, not only all that crap, all that bad stuff, but absolute censorship and being able to talk about it. Somebody that was talking about this and has for the past 10 years, and they just keep throwing him into jail, is this Tommy Robinson. Now, the European media has gone out of their way to call him a radical extremist. Why? Because he wants to protect British citizens. This was from, over the weekend anyway, I think it might have been yesterday on Benny Johnson's show. This is Tommy Robinson, one of the British patriots that's been calling for this guy to resign or at least get rid of him forever. Here's his main reason why. This is Tommy Robinson. Benny Johnson talked to him. I think it was just yesterday.
Your days are numbered. And look, I don't think... So when you see lots of things happened and lots of things failed here. Police failed, government failed. Do you know who else failed? We failed. As a nation, we failed. Now, we lost morality. We lost faith. We lost culture. We lost the church. We lost Jesus. We lost our belief. We lost everything, our identity. And That isn't a mistake. The church, all these things, what I'd say is a successful left-wing revolution. Open border mass immigration, attack the church, attack the family, feminise the man, weaken the man. All these things have happened. Now, that left a void.
Extreme? Is it? I mean, we've said this over here in our culture, in American culture, for a long time. Now, just imagine being a Brit, a citizen, a British patriot. All of this stuff, everything he just mentioned there, which seems foreign to us, it really does, because it's so extreme and it's so bad, and it serves as a warning of what we don't want ever to happen in this country, happened there. Are they able to fix it? I don't know. I don't know whether it's too late or not, but this is a good first step, that there was so much pressure on this guy to resign, and he lost they have these general elections and votes of no confidence and all that stuff. It's a major, major first step in that direction. Now, you'll be listening to this, and this goes back to that relevant question again. Why does it matter to us? Just a hardworking American. Why the hell do I care what's happening in the UK? You should. Because it's these kinds of movements are never just isolated to one country or one city or one anything. It's a massive experiment. I mean, you're talking about the United Kingdom. You're talking about a city you're talking about London, if this can happen here. This was a major boost for those that would like to upend Western culture. Everything we hold near and dear, the freedoms that we absolutely love. The people that would like to turn us into what the UK has gone through, and there are plenty in Congress right now. There are plenty who are mayors in major American cities, hello, New York, right now, who would love for that to happen. Oh, you're just exaggerating. That's insane. Really? Okay. Let's go back to, I'll pick this up from the middle part of his speech where Keir Starmer, and he dressed like in his weekend gear, whatever it is, to try to seem like he's a normal person and not another globalist tool bag. This is where he announced the decision that the UK actually did. They actually banned social media, censored it as best they could for kids under 16. Now, a lot of us as parents have said, boy, it'd be great if we never had social media. I get that. But really, truly, you can't censor information like that. Don't believe for a second that this was just about stopping online bullying or getting kids to spend more family time or putting down their phones at the dinner table. Bull crap. This is about the demographic that they could first censor to not get the information out about what's really happening in their streets. That's what this is all about. So here's your proof. If you're thinking, oh, it wasn't that bad, that's just an exaggeration from those people like Tommy Robinson you just played. Really? Here's the official announcement. This should be chilling to you as an American, that this was even happening in a country that we always called our best friend. We can't be friends with a country that was censoring information like this. This is the actual real deal. This is not an exaggeration. This happened.
It can harm their mental health. And frankly, parents need our support on this. That is why today the government has decided to ban social media access for children under 16. It's a big step for our country. Now, it's not an easy thing to do. I'll be honest about that. We haven't rushed into it. We've looked carefully at the evidence.
Because you collected enough proof to be able to make your argument. Because on the surface, like it always is, like all hideous things have a somewhat reasonable argument on the surface. Yeah, we want to keep kids safe, right? Oh, but it wasn't about that. It was about censoring the group that you could first censor and not get them the information. And you turn their little minds into mush. That's exactly what this was about. That's not made up and that's not AI. They did it. They censored social media for that group of people with the intent of saying that was so successful, and then they'll come up with all the crap studies in the world they can. A year later down the road, they come up with, our kids are so much healthier, they're spending more family time, they're this and that, so we're going to extend this to no one under 23 can have social media. This is how it happens. That's why this is a big win to get that guy out of here. He's a symbol of all the globalist, leftist crap that they tried to enact and did successfully in many, many cases. That actually happened. And I know that's weird for us to wrap our minds around, but it happened. This is something that is even tougher to try to understand. And this is the hideous part, and it's gross, and you're probably, if you're real time with me this morning, it's, still early in the morning before 8:30, and it's tough to wrap your head around Muslim rape gangs. But talk about censorship. This is also something that's happened in UK cities and towns a lot. Big study just came out, and there are plenty of people who say it wasn't just the vote of no confidence. It wasn't just the pressure. It was because this guy's going to be held responsible eventually by courts over there for what this is. Here's a good wrap-up of exactly what's been happening as well. You want to talk about something that we can't fully comprehend because, thank God Almighty, we don't have it yet. This serves as a warning to something we don't ever, ever want to allow. In your rush for diversity and mass unchecked immigration, you allowed hideous crimes to go unprosecuted.
Sir, Keir Starmer was the director of public prosecutions. It has been reported that while he was there, 13,000 suspected rape gang members and pedophiles were left off with warning letters. One survivor testified, "We raised concerns at the time because we all went to the sexual health clinic, so there are records from that. Even the chief inspector of police was aware." Another said on one occasion a police officer returned a victim named Fiona to the house where the abuse was occurring and told the men there to have fun with her.
Okay, that's just hideous. I know I can't even go any further, but it's important information to have. But it's insane. Now you go back to the Tommy Robinson guy from a couple of clips ago, and all the things he said and mentioned there, and then you actually hear the reports and this 10,000-page report apparently that was done on all these crimes that went unprosecuted. Because what would happen if you did? You know what happened to the victims when they claimed that they were victims of this hideous stuff? They were called Islamophobic. Oh, isn't that how they always do it? Right, exactly. So it's a relevant question. First one, obviously, is does this affect us in the U.S.? Yes, because it's a stark warning, and it's a direct shot to those in this country that would love for the UK to be a shining example of globalism in the U.S. They would love it, and believe you me, there are plenty of people in this country that would love that in highly elected positions. But the second thing is, maybe the question is, he didn't resign because of any kind of an election, any kind of a vote of no confidence, and they've had, is it 7 prime ministers in 10 years, something like that? Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's because this entire story that got the cover blown off it about these rape gangs that happened that went unprosecuted somehow, and they actually went after the victims. And how about that college kid that just got stabbed in London? Or was it Manchester? And they arrested him. They put him in handcuffs because the attacker said he said something racist. Just insane leftism infected that country, and they finally have a shot to clear it all up. Finally have a shot. Now, this isn't anything new. This is one of my favorite clips, and it gives us an opportunity to go back to Senator John Kennedy, the man of common sense from Louisiana. He said this, it might have been over a year ago, but this is a fantastic clip where he talked about Keir Starmer. Now, if you've got a senator, a down-home boy from Louisiana, talking about the UK Prime Minister and how hideous his policies are and how he's an example of exactly what we don't want to be, probably tells you that this is a pretty relevant story for all of us. Just for some laughs. Senator John Kennedy talking about Keir Starmer.
What my Democratic colleagues really like is Keir Starmer, who's the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, who is just to the left of Lenin. He's very unpopular with the people of UK. He's Poland right up there with gonorrhea. I don't know how much longer he can last, but this guy, he would give Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez a run for her money in terms.
Perfect example. I'm glad he brought her up. AOC, right? Think of the people who would look at Keir Starmer, now former prime minister, and say, that guy, he's doing it right. That's what we need to be. What are the politicians over here you would think of that would think of him as a hero? AOC, Mamdani, Gavin Newsom, and they all applauded him every chance they possibly could get. That's why it's relevant. So good for you, British patriots. Good for you. You got a big fight on your hands. You got a long way to go, but this is a good step in the first direction. So are things changing globally? Is this the Trump effect? I think it is. Absolutely. Because I think the world saw what could actually happen, that they don't have to let their country fall apart and break apart at the seams. It's a big win, and it does affect us because, like I said, it's a direct message to the people that would love to have the exact same policies that have been ripping apart the UK. They would love to have that here, starting with censorship. Don't ever trust anybody, any politician, talking head, empty suit, elected leader, anybody that says censoring information would be a good thing. You know why? Because it gets the truth out there, and it affects their power. That's why all of this whole UK story, which is big world news, but it actually does affect you. So good for you. We're rooting for you. We're rooting for you, UK. Because there was a while there where we said, we can't be favored nation status. They can't be one of our favorite nations if they censor people. Can't do it. Well, let's hope that changes. Let's hope it's not too late. All right, thanks for hanging out with me. I'm out of material. Get into your Monday and make it wicked awesome. Thanks for following along on the live stream, and podcast replay on X and YouTube and Facebook, and then the audio podcast, wherever you like to get those. Thanks so much for the downloads and follows. Appreciate you. Make it a great Monday, would you? Enjoy what we have here. It's not so far away from what they just went through in the UK, so big win for all of them. I'll talk to you tomorrow.